Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 127 of The Best Games Period. And this is the podcast where every week we get together, myself, Jack Gardner, and my effervescent co-host, Naomi Lugio.
Effervescent.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you got your sultry voice on. Can I get some headphones and a blanket?
Do I have my sultry voice on?
You did, yeah, when we started.
Oh, gosh. Is that a good thing?
Welcome to the Best Games Period podcast. In a few moments, we'll be taking off, and we should be arriving at our destination on time.
I blame the pre-show where I was... I don't know that I was making fun of Google's new Stradia service, but I feel compelled to say it Stradia. And
Stradia.
Like with like kind of like a sultry accent to it.
Is there an R in there? I thought it was like Stadia.
I think it is, but I want to say Stradia.
Stradia. Yeah, it's Stadia because it's plural for stadium. Yeah.
Stadia.
Stadia, darling.
So, again, this is the podcast where every week myself and Naomi, we talk about a game.
Anything we want.
Shut up. We talk about a game. I mean, this is supposed to be how it works. Not always, but we talk about a game that we think might be one of the best games of all time.
Or we have mental breakdowns and talk about not communism. Well, I guess sometimes communism, but a lot of times capitalism.
I mean, it's sometimes applicable, yeah.
We could spin it.
Gosh. Oh, this is an odd episode, isn't it?
No, this is par for the course.
No, it's not.
I just feel like you're awake today.
I did not expect this from episode 127, and I'm definitely not awake today.
Is that a special number that should denote organization?
Just the opposite. It is such like a random number that you would not expect anything from episode 127, right?
If you add all the numbers up, it equals 10. Whoa. What does that mean? Yes, I knew I'd be able to break Jack, and I did it. Sweet. How many minutes in are we?
We are
before the 5-minute mark.
We
Dang.
are not even at 4 minutes yet.
I'm the best.
I'm in a mood. I didn't have any caffeine until 30 minutes before the show.
Oh my god, no.
So I am very... I guess I'm very slap happy right now.
I wish I was there.
Well, you're making me laugh, so it's working. And I guess today is Naomi Appreciation Day because I also gave you a gift today. I commissioned some artwork of the two of us. And
I did not tear up at all when I woke up to this.
Oh,
because that was the first thing I saw in the morning was a message.
Well, yesterday you messaged me asking for a hint, and I was like, well, I think it's gonna come in today.
And then you sent it at 6 a.m., so that's what I woke up to.
Yeah,
which is fine.
I might have been up late.
You can send me surprises at 6 a.m.
I might have been up
guarantee
late.
you I'm not going to be up at that time.
We got some artwork done they go by _ Rain on Twitter. He did an amazing job. Naomi looks like a Disney princess.
And so does Jack. Come on. You look amazing too. Your eyes are like, pow, which is so true to life.
I really like what he did with your hair. Really captured that essence.
It's that's how I cut my hair too. It's like, damn.
Yeah, by the way, that's why I was asking you for a bunch of pictures of yourself. I wasn't trying to be a creeper.
I figured.
Yeah.
Add him to the shrine. Yeah.
And I posted it on various social media channels, and the response has been really, really good. I posted it to a Facebook group I'm in, and almost 100 people have liked and loved it, talking about how cute Naomi is and stuff. It's good.
How cute the both of us are.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I for one just think it's wild that I can send in like reference pictures to someone and like that's what they come up with now.
Right?
That's pretty cool for me. Anyway.
Now I just need to like I need that to like replace me in real life. Just
I mean, I want to be a cartoon too. I understand.
Yes. Please.
It's the only way Bowsette is
I wouldn't
ever
have to
going to
change
be
my
real.
clothes. I would never have to dye my hair.
No, you'd have to change clothes in a cartoon.
No, because like in every single cartoon in anime, they always just get to wear the same thing over and over.
Okay, that's true.
Except for like 5 characters.
Yeah, I mean, like I think if our lives were an anime, I think you would have like at least 5 different outfits.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But like they would be like special occasion, like when we're off to go fight the menace that's plaguing our society. Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
And then transformation sequences. Hello. Oh, Sailor Moon. Well, yeah. Yes.
So clearly, you'd have more than one outfit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have to change.
You don't have to change for anyone, Naomi.
Yeah, I have to change for myself.
Well, I think that's everyone, though.
Yeah. See?
We're all changing for the better. We're trying to. It's the human condition.
Literally changing clothes for the better.
And speaking of change, how about we change the subject? And the news of the week. That was really awkward. Do you want to just go back to anime clothes?
Yeah, always.
Okay, this is Anime Clothing News Hour with Jack and Naomi.
Yeah. And I do have something to say to that.
Okay.
Sailor Moon related.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I recently started reading the manga, and it is not dissing the anime, but the manga is just amazing compared to the anime.
In what way?
And I've always had an issue with the way they sexualize Sailor Moon and her transformations and short skirts and all of these little things. And in the manga, you just don't have that. And the stories are just so different and better. I don't know. I just really like not... And the thing is, I love the transformation sequences, you know? Like, it's not sexualized for me, but I get how it is, you know?
Like
it's
other people have sexualized it.
Yes, and I know that it was made sexually too, you know? So, I don't know, it just kind of sheds that thought from being able to enjoy the story itself, I guess. But it has a really good flow. So I recommend the Sailor Moon manga, because that's what we're talking about this week. Oh man, we would get so sidetracked.
I have also heard that, and did you watch the Sailor Moon anime in English, or did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
I'm usually team dub, but I've watched it both.
Okay.
Because I think I watched it on like Hulu or something, and they just don't have the dubs after a certain point, which is so great. That's just so great. Let's just keep on doing that, Hulu. I'm so happy about that.
Well, so I've heard that like the Japanese version of the anime is also way better than the dubbed version of the anime. Because the dubbed version apparently makes like a lot of the LGBTQ stuff just gals being pals.
Just squishes it away.
Oh, look, they're cousins. Really good cousins.
Yeah, no.
One of the characters that is like a butch lesbian type in the anime is made into like just straight up made into a man in the dubbed version of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose I didn't watch the dub episode for that, so yeah, like, I watched the Japanese version, so I think they left the little references in there. And yeah, so the way the story goes in that episode is all of the, or no, it was like Sailor Venus and Sailor Moon fall for this cute new guy who's at the arcade that they always go to, and that turns out to be, and I can't remember which Sailor Moon or which Sailor she is.
Jupiter?
Sailor Uranus. Is it really? No, Sailor Jupiter is one of the main ones. She's the green one. Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune are the couple. So she then reveals herself later after they have to fight the bad guy in the show, and then it's revealed. And yeah, so. But there's a lot of little references that that connect them together as a romantic couple, and I was like, yes, please.
Yeah, apparently it's also much more explicit in the manga, so.
Yay. Well, I'm on volume 2, so we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the, like, I do a lot in anime and stuff, and I'm a big time nerd, but I've never actually watched much Sailor Moon.
Oh my god, ow, it hurts.
I'm sorry.
Go watch it now. It is so filled with sparkly, like, women greatness. Like, oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it does. See, this is where the mixed feelings come in. Like, I love it, and I want it to just be aside from, like, politics, which I know how that sounds, but just so I can enjoy it. Like, the way they made Usagi's character is just so great, because she's very flawed, she's lazy, she's a dork, but she's still very strong, and she's the friggin', I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched the show from the 80s and 90s, but she's Princess Serenity. She's, you know, she's royalty, but she's a big dork who sleeps in and sometimes is late for school, so.
Right. Yeah, she has human flaws. Just,
yes.
And has to deal with them the same as any of us. Now, the big question, Naomi, is how familiar are you with Stadia?
It was big news all week that we were going to get some sort of big news from Google. Google was doing something with games, and a lot of people were like, oh man, Google console, whoa. And I was like, sure, maybe, we'll see. So it turns out that they have introduced Stadia, this streaming service, which I wonder if I can remember the phrase they used, is not monogamous. What is the word?
It's a monogamous streaming service.
Oh my gosh. No, screen agnostic was what they said.
Gosh, that is so pretentious.
Right?
My eyes
I loved
just flew
it.
up into my head.
I loved it. I was like, oh my god, they didn't. That's like when Apple was like, their freaking earpods were brave. This is the same reaction. I was like, oh no, they didn't. I'm eating this up. So yeah, it's gonna be a streaming service for a bunch of games. I know that they were highlighting Assassin's Creed Origins. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't know launch date, and yeah, I think that's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, so game streaming isn't a new thing. It's actually been around for much longer than you would actually think. If I recall, I think the Sega Genesis might have had the ability to stream games. I believe there was also like an accessory for the Super Nintendo that allowed some limited game streaming. Believe in my perusal of like the history of The Legend of Zelda, there was one there are a couple titles that could only be streamed and have like never been seen again. But yeah, typically for modern games, it has been seen as something that's not super reliable. That's why you have services like OnLive kind of coming and going over time. OnLive used to be a big game streaming service, and I believe they folded and got bought out by PlayStation. I think Sony bought them out, and they used what came from OnLive to make their PlayStation Now service, which also streams games and is basically the only way you can play like classic games on your PlayStation 4 now, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So Stadia is supposed to be a game changer by letting people... It'll basically act it'll act like Netflix does, or like any other kind of streaming service on a Chromecast or online on a PC, and allow you to stream games just like that using Google's hardware. It will remotely play the game and stream it to you and stream back the commands, and basically the big service that it's touting is being able to play on any screen whatever games are in their library that you own. And they're talking about some other kind of more high concept features, like if you see a game that someone is streaming and you like it and it's through their service, you could just click a button and then you would buy the game, and you could have it, if you like, between clicking the button and you playing that same game, the gap in time would be like 5 seconds or something, because you don't have to download anything. All of the work is done on Google's end, and then they just stream it to you. They have some dumb looking controllers for Stadia, and I don't like them, but whatever. It's not a huge gripe, I guess, because you don't have to use them. You can use really whatever controllers you want, as long as they plug into the device that you're using. So, like, if you have an Xbox 360 controller that plugs into your PC, you can use that to play Stadia games. They're also opening a new development studio. I think it's just called Stadia Games and Entertainment. And that's why they brought on Jade Raymond, who is famous for being a producer of the Assassin's Creed series. Google managed to snipe her from Ubisoft, and she's coming to lead their new games division. And I thought this was interesting. In kind of their reveal of all of this, they talked about how she's going to be leading kind of the team that's developing Stadia-specific games, but she's also going to be in charge of bringing third-party games onto Google's streaming service, and offering new features for those games through Stadia. I just think that's interesting. Like, what kind of features would we be seeing in these games? Like, what would we be seeing? Like, storefront specific DLC? Like, what expansions, mechanics? I don't know. That was just intriguing. And all of this, so any screen, and they say that when it launches later this year, it will have a standard streaming capacity or ability of 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, which that's a big ask. So I guess my question is, can they actually do it?
It's Google. Or, they can do anything.
I mean, they can do it, but, like, let's be real, Naomi. America's internet infrastructure is very bad.
Oh, it's totally consistent across everywhere.
I don't know that this will work. I think it will work for some people. And also Google has like infinite amounts of money, so they can just take a loss on it, I guess, until internet speeds come up to par. But I think that's what other online game streaming services gambled on, and they did not see that pay off. Maybe Google has the health to kind of withstand the slow march of time that it's going to take for American internet to get up to par to handle this kind of a service, but I don't know. I have pretty good internet. I don't know that my internet could handle that sort of streaming.
Probably, yeah, mine definitely can't.
They were very coy about what the internet requirements would be for this. So, I don't know. They promised a whole lot. They promised that eventually this service is going to offer 8K streaming with 120 frames per second or more. And that would be cool. I don't know why you would need 8K resolutions or 120 frames per second. But I guess that if they can deliver it, that's great.
You want them to show you the money. I get it.
I don't even want them to show me the money. I want them to just be open about who is going to have access to this, because I get the feeling that like when it launches, it's only going to be super wealthy or like, you know, the people who live in Silicon Valley next to Google, you know,
and cell towers and internet connection.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been talking a lot.
It's all good. It's all good, boo.
Do you have any thoughts about game streaming?
Like, I'm in the camp where I guess I'm kind of in your camp where I need to know those specs, because, like, my internet cuts out all the damn time. I have to share my bandwidth, and like, it's super impressive what they're saying, but it feels like they're just, you know, jumping on the wagon, trying to be like, hey, we're here, we have something eventually, and it's like, okay, Google, cool. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm not really a techie, which is kind of funny for someone in the games industry. I'm not really interested in the tech until it's like in front of me and I can see it and get a sense of it.
That's fair. Yeah, I get the feeling that I'm not going to really be sold on it until like it's actually out and I can go out and buy a game on Stadia, you know, actually click that button and be playing in 5 seconds and have it actually be a good experience. Because, I mean, setting aside, like, baseline streaming, what about Battle Royale games? Online games take up a lot of bandwidth. So, can you play online and still get those resolutions and frames?
And what the hell does screen agnostic mean? Like, does that mean I can go and stream it to my Xbox, my Switch, and my PC? Because like I need to know which ones they're going to require, because I have a laptop right now. Eventually I might have a nice PC that I can do this all on, but right now I have a laptop. I can't run fun games on freaking Steam, so I doubt that I'll be able to stream them to my freaking laptop.
So, like, the idea is that you wouldn't need any kind of powerful device because Google's servers would be the ones actually, like, playing the game.
BS.
I mean, it would be kind of like they straight up said, like, you would, like, if you're going to stream it to a TV or something, you would need a Chromecast dongle, you know, plugged into it. So, I mean, Chromecast dongle doesn't really, like, it does open it, like, it allows streaming to happen, but the actual device that is doing the horsepower to, run the movie or whatever you're watching is, on Netflix's end or wherever, or YouTube or, etc. So in theory, you could, like, you can play it on your phones. Like, they were literally saying you could play, Assassin's Creed Odyssey on your phone or a tablet or a laptop. And I would guess, like, that means you don't need a ton of processing power on your end. It just depends on your internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not sold.
I am not sold.
Okay. That's fair. I think it's fair to still be skeptical even after, like, their big revelation.
No, I'm not impressed by, like, these big tech announcement bravado, like, it's marketing. It's all flashy. I guess that's why I'm not really a tech person. Like, I'm not like super excited about those announcements. And I'm not gonna follow just one brand. I'm gonna use stuff that works for me and what I can get,
Mm-hmm. I think that this is probably the direction that video games are going. I don't know if we're quite there yet. Like, it's what Microsoft wanted to do with the Xbox One. They wanted to just have a digital-only box. And that didn't work out so well for them. But, we're seeing the decline of brick and mortar stores like GameStop. And I think we're probably still like 1 or 2 generations away from just having digital streaming boxes that we buy instead of, or not streaming boxes, but like, a PlayStation 6 that doesn't have, an optical drive. It's just connected to the internet and downloads your games and then plays them. I think we're heading in that direction. And once we hit that, it's only a hop and a skip away to being actually streaming games, which Google clearly thinks that we are, at the very least, almost ready for that. And maybe we're just going to skip entirely over a digital game box and just skip right to game streaming, which I feel like that probably works a lot better in a country like South Korea or Japan. That's much more connected with internet infrastructure, but not so much in the United States yet. So,
Oh, I know. So, what game we talking about this week?
Well, I hear we're talking about Slime Rancher.
You nominated it.
You're the one who nominated it. I just pulled it out of our, like, pile of nominations.
Our pile.
We have a pile of nominations.
I just picture, like, a pile of, like, torn pieces of paper with games, like, scribbled on them quick.
That's what an Excel spreadsheet is.
I'm not gonna debate that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Slime Rancher, which you are apparently bad at. Can you please explain how you can be bad at Slime Rancher?
Well, so I think what happened was I didn't know how, like, what the appropriate number of slimes was to have in a cage at a given time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of them got unhappy and they just started roaming everywhere. And I had a hen coop and they got in and just started eating my hens. My hens, and it was a massacre. It was awful, and yeah, I'm just not good at it.
Okay, fine.
What is Slime Rancher?
Slime Rancher is a game where you ranch slimes and you collect their little poops and you sell them, and that's how you make money.
You're not wrong. The poops are called plorts, though.
Ploops.
Plort.
Plort. It makes such cute little noises. Okay, so this game is like 1,020% me. You are on a ranch, and your character is adorable, by the way. Like, I played this game, oh god, probably before it came out. No, definitely before it came out. Now it's coming back to me. In early access. So I played it back then, beat it in like 2 days, and then, like played it every once in a while, but like there wasn't a lot of content, right? So then it came out, I believe, last year or the year before that, and I played it all over again, and they added so much more to it, and it made me happy, and I splurged on my plorts and played it all over again, and it was just as captivating as it was the first time. So you're on a alien planet. I can't remember the name of it. And you are this lovely person. I can't remember her name, but she's adorable.
I think it's the Far Range.
Yep, Far Range or something.
Yeah, and her name is like
Beatrix something.
Yeah.
We obviously do research.
Well, everyone calls her B, so...
B, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's got pretty simple mechanics, but it doesn't really hold your hand too much.
I wish it would, though.
Did you beat the game?
No, I did not.
Okay. Do you mind if I spoil it? Because I probably have to explain why it's so good.
I don't, so...
Okay.
Go for it,
I won't
please.
go into it yet, but... So the basic mechanics are you collect these little gooby creatures from the wild, and these are the slimes. And as you progress throughout this world, the slime get more difficult in their needs, how you feed them. Obviously, if they poop, you need to feed them. And the real draw of the game is exploration. So as you earn more money, you earn more perks. Like, you have a jetpack, and you can jump higher the more money you invest in that. And even to access certain areas, you have to have a certain amount of money accrued to even unlock them. So that was the main drive for me. And, obviously at launch, there was a lot less to explore. But then when they finally released the game, they added a ton of new worlds. And they still do, which is really amazing. And so you ranch, and you have this little farming sim in the process. And then there's this story that is interwoven, which is where I think the game, like, absolutely just, it caught me off guard, right? When I got to the end of the story, and I'll talk about that later. But I'm ranching my slimes and making sure they have the best accommodations. They have
a pond
pond for the pond slimes. So they have their little toys, their little rubber duckies, and make sure they all have the appropriate setup. Like the phosphorescent slimes have the cave, and they get the berries that they love the most. That's my jam. And then steadily I'm unlocking different pieces of the world, and each little biome, you get to see a different design, right? I mean, it's really simple. You can see the edges of this world, but the way they made it, it's like a sprawling path that all connects.
Yeah.
At least in one way or another.
So I just want to put in some observations about the game so far from what you've said. So I think that Slime Rancher is the closest thing we have to Pokemon Snap. I started playing, I was like, this is very much reminding me of Pokemon Snap. You are throwing food, be that like these weird apple things or carrots or hens,
green mangoes, and like spiky hens. Oh my god, I love it.
So you're just like blorting them out of your little Ghostbuster gun, and feeding these things or trying to get different reactions out of them
or capturing them in your Ghostbusters bag.
Yeah. And to me, that was very reminiscent of like trying to get a perfect shot in Pokemon Snap. And there's not like a ton of danger in the game. So it's mostly you going out around this track and exploring this world. And yeah, it's not as linear as Pokemon Snap is, but in a lot of ways it felt like going out each time I was going out on like a little tour of, you know, that slice of the world. And the world is almost built kind of like a Pokemon Snap ride. There are very definite trails that you can take, and I don't know, like that's, to me, this is like Slime Rancher is like a weird combination of Pokemon Snap and like something like Harvest Moon.
That's an interesting parallel. I definitely see it with the level designs, not in the gameplay, but
well, yeah, like very specifically the like emotional and like visual of throwing these fruits at different animals,
and then they go, oh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Although there is something horrifying about shooting hens at like a pile of slimes and seeing them devoured. Yeah.
And then they immediately get pooped out. Immediately. Oh, and another thing is the different slimes, they eat each other's poops and then they like turn into a hybrid.
A monster. A spiky monster.
Not a monster, because oh my god, the pink slimes mixed with the tabby slime, which is the kitty slime. Gosh, I freaking love those ones.
I mean, like, pretty much anything mixed with the tabby slime is gonna be cute.
It's so true, though. Yeah, so the music in this game is, like, some of my favorite in games. Which, it's simple, but there's just certain areas where I would just sit there and just listen to the music. Like, it's atmospheric and peaceful and like a little melancholy at the same time.
It gives you the feeling of being like far away, you know, and there's something really almost meditative about it.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes you kind of want to just like sit back and consider both things in the game and also in your life. Which, you know, depending on your mood, maybe that's not for you. I don't know. But I kind of wish that I had music like that playing around me all the time.
Same. Like, I don't know if you know about like the lo-fi hip hop thing.
Yeah.
Like that. Only with Slime Rancher, please. like I need to just get the vinyl or something. Because it's amazing. And yes, it would have to be the vinyl, not just like the MP3s. It has to be extra. Because, yeah. Like, seriously, like the song it's like the mossy something. I think that's like my favorite. There's like a transition area in between there. And it's like a time travel area, like time travel ruins. That's like, yeah, it makes me gush every time I go in there. But yeah, so to this story, as you're exploring, you find these little spots where there's a recorded message. Haha, hello, video game cliche. But it's messages from the old owner of this farm, right? Or this whole area. That he would go and explore and do what you're doing, right? Is find slimes and farm them. So he left little notes for B, or just anyone who would have inherited the farm, or not inherited, but like gotten the farm after him.
Yeah.
And they just, you know, they're little tidbits that are a little poetic, but not like cheesy. And he's just, doing observations about his life and, what he thought when he was in these certain spots. And it correlates with your progression in the game, right? Like early on in the game, he says certain things that are kind of reminiscent of something early on in your life, And at the same time, Beatrix is getting these mail from her ex-partner, previous boyfriend. I guess they're still friends. They used to be together, something like that. And this person is back on Earth or wherever. And they're sharing little tidbits from their relationship. Like, hey, I miss you. Hope it's going well. You remember that one time? Yeah, that kind of stuff. So you get these two stories that kind of intertwine throughout. And so you're exploring, and I don't know, if at least if you play like I do, you're ravenously trying to unlock this game and progress through it. And so there's like this end area of the game. It's kind of hard to get to, but the way they designed it is gorgeous. So when you first get there, it's a desert. And it's the most dangerous part of the world. If you are in the sun in this world for too long, you will get hurt. And when you get hurt in this game, you get transported back to the farm and you lose a day. Which is bad because you have to feed all of your hungry slimes. Otherwise they get all mad and they try to escape. All of that jazz, right? So there's this really dangerous area. But in these pockets, you find little green ruins, and there's water there. And so your goal in this area is to find these places with water and transport it and bring life back to the desert. And as you're doing that, you come across these really big ruins, and they're really hard to traverse, right? You're bouncing across them. At least, I mean, with me, I suck at platforming, so that was kind of difficult. A little bit of puzzles, which again, oh my god, I hate puzzles. And then you get treated to, like, the escalation of these ruins. They become more dramatic, and more towering. And when you get to the end, it's like the end of the world, and you're overlooking, I don't know, I think it was like some sort of sea. And there's one last message, and it's from this older person who left the farm. And they basically say something to the effect of, and this is someone they've been talking about the whole time, is how they miss this person that they shared their life with. And how this last message was the message where they decided that they were going to leave farming behind to go be with this person. And live their life with this person because, they've explored the world. They've seen all of these beautiful things, but now what they really want is to be with this person that they love and that they've missed. And it's just so, it wrenches at my heart, I guess, in particular, as someone who's been through a really, really tough long distance relationship, with a soldier who was deployed in Afghanistan for 13 months. It just really hit that feeling of just wanting to be with that person and not being able to experience these things with them, but hearing about them and just getting that really aching love feeling, where you can picture them and you get that like feeling of nostalgia for this person, even though they're still here, but you don't get that physical connection. And then they tied it in so well with, Bee's own relationship with this person. And they have like cute little stories, and it was just, the game design really lent to how they climaxed this story, and it caught me off guard so much because it's this little cute game with little squishy slimes, and all of a sudden it has like this really deep moment that just talks about, losing out on time with the people you want to be with and the sacrifices that you have to make sometimes in your lives. And like, damn, that's heavy for a ranching game, my goodness. But it was just so beautiful to get to that moment, and like that was the game. Like, that's how you beat the story of the game. And like, I think it like ends with an achievement, and then there's like these really cute credits, and I was just like, oh my god, you got me.
Yeah, I mean, it's I wonder to what extent like it's a commentary on like real life too, because like just like the old rancher had his someone, and the slime rancher has her someone, Casey, like the player also has someone they care about, or who cares about them. And so do you get to the end of that game, and is it intended that the player also has the realization that like you've done all you can ranching these slimes, and now it's time to move on and spend some time with your loved one,
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, I know you briefly mentioned it, but I cannot stress enough how much I love the character design of Bee.
She's so cute.
She's so cute. And, like, her design is so good. She has, like, a cool bomber jacket type thing. She has, like, amazingly cool gloves. She has awesome, like, turquoise hair. Just the most adorable face and smile. And then, like, she's wearing cargo pants, but, like, you can tell she's actually using the cargo pants pockets.
Yeah.
Like, they're full.
She's a rancher.
Right.
She needs that utility.
Yeah. And also, she has, like, a cute little side player that has, like, a slime face on it. It's really cute. I like the way her ranching gun, I feel uncomfortable referring to it as a gun, but like I don't know what else to call it.
Because you're shooting little slimes with it. We'll just call it the Ghostbuster thingy.
The Ghostbuster. Gosh, what were those called? Proton packs. It's a proton pack. I'm really trying to work on saying so much. I'm not doing a good job.
It's all good. It's overrated not saying
But I try and edit them out of the podcast, Naomi.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. That is work. Now I'm gonna feel bad if I ever say it.
You should.
No.
Yeah. So much trouble from your and your uhs. Oh gosh. So, yeah, it is a surprisingly contemplative game that really plays into its more meditative nature, I think. Mm-hmm. Especially compared to most games that are kind of in this similar genre. Because in most games there are NPCs to talk to and build meaningful connections with. Like in Harvest Moon, you can usually get married, or Stardew Valley, you could basically develop a deep connection with almost anyone in town. I say again. So this one, there's not really that.
Yeah, it plays on the nature of this kind of work, right? It's you're alone and you're focusing on getting the work done for the day. The only thing you really care about, at least on a day-to-day basis, is your slimes. You're taking care of them, you're making money, and you're moving forward. Sorry.
Oh no, it's like that.
Diddy
That's like a good observation, because I think to some extent, like, this game is is about how, and maybe I'm reading too much of myself into it, but how we can get lost in our work and forget that we forget
why we're doing it. You know, like
right.
we work to have stable and better lives, and a lot of times that's for the people around us.
Right, like life is not all about work, and we can very easily, and I know this because I freelance, and basically anytime I'm not working, I feel guilty because I'm not working and I could be working.
Making more of that money.
Right. So yeah, this game more so than Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon really taps into that because it forces you to be alone, and like it doesn't really maybe feel as alone at first, but as you kind of go on and all you're really interacting with are these slimes,
and they act like animals. Like they don't have conversations with you. They don't do anything except eat and poop, really. So it's not like they provide much company.
Yeah, and I think that is also what makes the ending message more poignant, because you have been lulled into this loneliness. Like the rancher that was there before you spent most of his life ranching before he realized what he really wanted and what all of that ranching was really about. And it wasn't about ranching. It was about being able to spend more time with people he cared about.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, that's a pretty subversive message for a game like this, I think.
Yeah. It is, that all the money you're making, it's great, sure, but what are you really gaining from it? And these messages you see from the old rancher, they're throughout the world, but the other messages you get are when you go and sleep for the night. You get your inbox. Or at least you can go and check it throughout the day if you really want, but the nature of the game, you are checking it at the end of the day and probably at the end of a long day, and you might be like, okay, I just want to get to the morning, you know, and you could ignore those messages if you want. So you still have to take time to be able to get this story. It's not handed to you. Just like most of the game, you have to search for it, and you have to read and make those connections yourself.
Yeah, I mean, This is definitely a game that is both very inviting for people, and also I think it's kind of hard to get into. Like if you're not won over by the visuals immediately, and you're more of like a hard mechanics person, this can be not tedious is not the word that I'm looking for, but
well, it's like farming itself. You have a routine. You have to do it. It's work.
Yeah.
And you're not getting a big sense of satisfaction necessarily from collecting another day's worth of poop, right, and selling it. But you eventually see the progress of your wares. But yeah, it's it's not as exciting as getting a headshot, right, for some people.
Right. And I think so. I guess I'm just going to list off a couple things that I'm not a huge fan of in this game, and a big one is the user interface for everything that isn't like immediate. So like anytime I had to go into a menu in this game, I didn't like it. There are a couple exceptions, like when you go and rest for the night, that's very nice. But there were just some things that, for how polished everything else was, like some of the font was like very basic or whatnot. And I get that this was an indie game, and it's very much nitpicking on my part,
Meanie.
But it was something that like did genuinely bother me. And the other thing is that, and maybe this is a reflection that you are not like a experienced slime rancher, but it seems it doesn't have the tight controls necessarily of something like a Stardew Valley, where you can, throw down your hoe and it clears one square exactly of dirt, Instead, to collect your poops, you got to go into the slime cage and vacuum up all the poops. That might.
Or you upgrade your cage.
How do you do that? Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I mean. I'm bad at this game.
That makes it so much better. That's a whole mechanic. You upgrade the thing.
And well, so
okay.
that's another thing. It doesn't really explain itself to you, which again is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on your perspective. Or maybe I'm just really bad at Slime Rancher. I think it might be that one.
Maybe.
But there were just a lot of things where like I felt like I didn't understand what was going on. And that's fine. I think it's good to have games that are like that. It's
not your jam.
I mean, it's not my jam, if that makes sense.
Not.
It's I like precise controls, and creating a small vacuum cleaner that sucks in like everything regardless of what's in front of it is not like the same precision that I'm used to in this genre of game, which doesn't make it bad. It's just different, and your mileage may vary depending on how much you can kind of just roll with that,
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good segue into a little thing we like to call Contrarian Corner. Boop, 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 boop. And I will be happy to say that there were not a lot of negative reviews. In fact, on Metacritic, there were no negative reviews for PS4. Well, bam. But there are 2 on PC. Again, this is an indie game. I know. And this first one, well, actually, the only one I'm going to read is from, oh god, Nilsy, Nllsy, sure. And they wrote this in August of 2017. And they said, "This game did not grab me. Gave it hours and hours of gameplay long after I just wanted to remove it from my hardware. All in vain, still boring. It's hard to point out any real errors in the game other than the jetpack energy system used to try to get around to high areas to explore. Standing still waiting for energy to come back is not fun. It possibly gets fun if I put in 100 more hours, who knows, but that's the thing. Would not enjoy a single one of those, so uninstall and count my losses." So that's definitely giving some support to what you're saying. The mechanics of waiting around for energy. Kind of similar, I guess, but not. But yeah, it just wasn't for this person. They didn't get the draw, and that's fine. It happens.
Is it though?
Yes, I won't come after you.
So, yeah, I guess I'll just give some of my final thoughts before you give yours.
Mm-hmm.
In general, like, I can definitely see why people love Slime Rancher. I think it has a ton of interesting things going for it, aside from being just like absurdly cute and really gorgeous. It has a very unique vision for what this sort of a game could or should be. I would play more games like this. I think like a Slime Rancher 2 would probably be a better fit for me, because I like the team that made this, Monomi Park, I believe they're called. They're clearly absurdly talented, and so I think that they probably learned a lot from making Slime Rancher, and I would have to imagine that any sequel that they would make would refine on a lot of like these little nitpicky things that I found really irritating that are very specific to me. I look at words all day, and so when I see like a font that is like basic Arial font in like a tutorial or whatever, I don't like that.
You font nerd.
Well, I mean, like the entire tutorial of this game was done in text, basically, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. There are probably better ways to organize a tutorial than to do that, and I think that they have the storytelling chops to do something even more interesting in a sequel. As it is, I think I'm kind of like right on the edge of saying whether or not it's a best game period. I know like whatever I say doesn't have as much weight because I didn't finish the game and I was clearly very bad at it. But I guess I defer to you.
I adore this game so much. And, you know, I feel like since I was able to play this game before the story was finished and before the story was even really there, I can kind of have a more objective view on how I enjoyed the gameplay versus that story and how it hit me. I beat this game in like 2 days when it first came out.
Holy moly.
And then I beat it again in 2 days when it came out again.
Are you okay?
Yes. I haven't played it for a while, so we're good. I beat the crap out of it.
Beat the plort out of it.
And there were so many captivating elements to it. Like it's obviously my style of game, right? But it was satisfying for a farming sim-esque game. It was satisfying as a exploration game with the way that they were able to do so much with such simplistic graphics. And the music just lent itself to the different types of areas you were in. Like when you entered the mossy whatever it's called, the music that they had to accompany it just gave it so much more depth and really solidified what they are trying to portray with their design and everything. So that was really impressive. And then with the story, it was something that caught me off guard because, yeah, it's this cute little game with slimes, but that is such intricate storytelling without any hand-holding. And that's really impressive to me, that it was able to convey such a strong emotion, and I think somewhat universal. You know, you can interpret it in your own way, but it's something that we all can relate to somehow. I mean, again, we can interpret it however it relates to our own lives, but that's amazing. You know, there's a reason why. I think when I beat it, I just like put my controller down and cried. Like, I think that's what I did. I was totally caught off guard, but I was fine with it. And like we've said, it spoke to the nature of the game itself, which I think is awesome. Like, there are very heavy-handed narratives in a lot of games that just like smack you over the head so many times with what it's trying to say, and that this game doesn't do that. It's very subtle, but that impresses me so much more. It's a game that, I don't know, it reaches that next level to me where it and this is going to sound cheesy, but it reaches into my soul. You know, it gets me in there. And not a lot of games do that, because, you know, something like The Witcher is beautiful to me, right? And it's impressive, but its story points don't necessarily tug at my heartstrings, and really hit points that I'm exploring as a human being in this world. But this game did.
Yeah, I think that is pretty amazing when you have something like Slime Rancher doing more narrative work in some respects than The Witcher 3, one of the biggest video games of all time.
And has a book to back it up.
And has a book to back it up. Yeah.
Book series,
yeah.
Yes.
And on top of that, like, it's... How do I say this? It can be more difficult. That's not what I want to say either. I think that it is easier for a game like that is designed like Slime Rancher to tell a story about isolation and about isolation and the importance of human relationships than it is for a game like The Witcher 3 to tell a story about isolation and human relationships, because The Witcher 3 is ultimately, a lot of it is about a power fantasy. We are this powerful character, and you hunt monsters, and you save people, and you're never really accepted, so you have to keep moving. And there are a few heartbeats throughout the main game. Personally, if you want to go play The Witcher 3, more power to you. I would just highly recommend that you skip mainline most of the game. Or if you can't, I'm not sure if you can do this. If you can do it, just play the Hearts of Stone DLC. That was easily the best Witcher experience I've had.
Also very beautiful.
Also very beautiful, yeah. Has a giant frog in it. It's pretty cool. And introduces, like, the best villain in the series. So, yeah. I think that what we learned today is that the real enemy in all of this is how capitalism atomizes all of us and isolates us, commodifying each part of our lives as much as possible.
I mean, I laugh, but you could legitimately make that point with this game.
I wasn't joking. So, yeah, and ultimately the ending message of this game is that we can overcome that imposition on our lives by clinging on to each other, and I think that's really beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, best game, period.
Yeah. I win. Where's my trophy? I want it here now.
Your trophy...
I'll accept a medal, too.
Your trophy was a bomb piece of art where you're hugging me.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I walked right into that one.
Also, to clarify, because a couple people brought it up, no, you are not grabbing my boob in the picture. It is a friendly arm around the shoulder.
Of course people would be like that.
With a hand.
just a honk.
You're not pulling an Al Franken here.
Yeah, that's totally the vibe we have with the best games period over here. That's who we are. Yep. Oh my god.
Just clarifying that.
Oh man.
So, do we have any closing thoughts on anything else?
Go play Slime Rancher if you need to unwind and you like, I guess, I don't know, if you have a slightly OCD personality, and I don't mean that in like a haha, oh, is an OCD funny? No, it's like, it is genuinely soothing. It's like a distraction while you explore, is to be able to focus so much on, you know, making money in this game. Like, it really does help, at least someone like me who does have little bits of OCD and ADD and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, So, if you enjoyed that episode, you can find us over on iTunes, SoundCloud, Libsyn, most podcasting apps except for Spotify. It's our white whale. Our podcast will never get it, but we're still gonna chase it until we die. And you can...
Until we die. Lifetime commitment right there, damn.
I mean...
Spotify, do you hear us? Do you hear our pleas? Let us in so we can rest.
So you can also find us on community.extra-life.org, and if you've never heard of Extra Life before, it's an amazing charity. It's part of Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, which is a charity designed to help sick and injured kids in hospitals all across the United States and Canada. Highly recommend the charity. You can learn more or sign up over on extra-life.org. And when you head over there, you can even and sign up. You can choose which Children's Miracle Network hospital you want to support, and 100% of everything you raise goes directly to that hospital to help sick and injured kids. It's really fantastic. And guess what? You raise money by playing games, which if you listened this far into our podcast, you probably do. So you should sign up for this charity, play some games, and help some kids. Do we have anything else to plug?
If you like us bomb-ass women talking about video games, you can support us over on our Patreon. As patrons, you get access to special episodes that we create every once in a while, and you get our undying love, so that's worth it, right?
And if you donate at higher than $1 tiers, you will gain access to different things. For example, we live stream each of these episodes, and you get to hear us ramble and talk about different things that might not necessarily make it into the final show that goes up every Monday. So, might be worth your while, might not be. It's up to you, no pressure. The highest tiers get to watch live, and the lower ones get to watch the episodes or the live streams after they're done airing live. At least that's how it's supposed to work.
We're always on top of it. Always.
Always. I also want to give a shout out to our Dragon Guard episodes. If you are unaware, Dragon Guard is our sub-podcast. Is that how we describe it?
Sure.
Where I DM a Dungeons and Dragons campaign in 5th edition for Naomi and our friends and colleagues Marcus Stewart and Kyle Gatto as they make their way through the world of Altera, trying to defend it from dragons. And that campaign is actually done in real time. It's just a matter of me editing it. You can listen to the most recent session over on our Patreon, and there's a teaser episode that came out this week to fill in a gap in our schedule, but I'll be releasing the full 4th dump of those episodes, the fourth
Dump.
the fourth plort of those episodes
Man.
soon. And then once those come out, the next full session will be put on our Patreon. So if you don't want to wait for all of the editing that I do, you can listen to those over there. And we also have The Gilded Cage, a new Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
A hot mess
it is,
of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly.
I don't think you guys can game any other way, to be honest.
No, I think it's impossible. Can you imagine if we were like all of a sudden really serious?
I would be
like,
scared.
No, I need to fix my dagger stats, okay? I don't even know how to like pretend to be serious. Remember how I tried to like just like steal a bunch of like gear? That was amazing.
That was pretty great.
Like nothing was telling me no, so
like you can is the thing. That's what part of what makes Dungeons
but
and Dragons
you just
great.
didn't let me.
What do you mean?
You said no, I couldn't have it. You took it away.
Oh, okay. You can try and steal things that are in game. You can't just start your character and be like, I have artifact level
not?
magic weapons. No.
But like, why? Like my person, it's in their story. I even wrote it in there.
No. I'm sorry.
But
You're level 1. Artifact
Fine.
level stuff is like something I would build an entire campaign around.
I had like all of it.
You did. I like halfway through the session, I looked at your sheet and I'm just like, what is this? No.
It's just everything.
Gosh.
All right, where are we going to be seeing these fine people?
On the Flippity Dippity. We also have an Instagram and a Facebook and all that stuff. Also, please leave us like, comment, and subscribe, because commenting and liking helps us always. So do those things and we would be very appreciative.
Flippity dippity.
If